So, perhaps one of the best and most notorious wholesale websites that you can source from is eedistribution.com. Now, there's many ways to source from eedistribution.com, and I will cover them briefly. The two main ways briefly here, and then below this, there will be other tutorials on how you can basically source through and how I source through to find profitable products which you can then resell back on Amazon or other places for a profit. Okay, now keep in mind too that when you apply for e-distribution, it is like a wholesale website or a liquidation website, so you do need a wholesale certificate to get accepted. That said, one of the benefits of a site like e-distribution, and there are a couple of them, we'll cover them here in a second, but one of the benefits of a site like e-distribution is it's very reputable, and you go through you don't just sign up and get and apply and get accepted and then they kind of let you source through. You actually go through an orientation phone call, which is anywhere from a half hour to an hour long, where not a client, but a representative from EE basically walks you through how to use the website, different ways that you can source, and different ways that they'll let you know and keep you updated on new products or potentially popular products or products that you've identified that you might be interested in, or even products that they think that you can make a profit on. So it's in their best interest to make you succeed so that you buy more of their products. So the whole orientation call, don't sleep on it. It will really help you understand the website, how to source, and more importantly, how to develop that relationship with your actual supplier as well. So EE Distribution is on your team. It's a great website to utilize, and on top of that, during the orientation call, there are some discounts that they give you on your first order ahead of time. I forget what it was. It's been so long since my first order. It might have been anywhere from like 10 to 50% off. I really don't remember. And on top of that, they give you, I think it's 50% off, and then like a slight slight cut of the fee off too for using their FBA prep center. So if you order from them directly and you want to ship into Amazon, you can basically get the first shipment, the first order 50% off or 10% off or whatever it was. He'll tell you that, or she'll tell you that in your orientation call. And then on top of that, you also get a discount for using their FBA prep center. So for example, if I wanted to source this Better Red Than Pred, action figure, right? And I wanted to ship it into FBA, I have a few options. One, I could either ship it to myself, make sure that all of them are there, and then repackage it up and ship it into FBA, where obviously I'd be charged for the product, I'd be charged for the shipping to me, and then I would have to pay to ship it back into FBA as well, right? Instead of that, I can actually have EE Distribution, like some of the liquidation sites that we'll cover in this actual course, actually prep and ship it into FBA for me, and they do that for a slight fee per product, and that is something else that you can basically get information on and get information on the discount that you can get in your orientation call. So don't sleep on the orientation call. I would be remiss if I basically went through and organized and basically told you all those things myself, because the representative from e-distribution can do it a lot better than I can. I'm just here to show you how I source from e-distribution, the benefits of it, and how you can as well, okay? So don't sleep on the orientation call. Now, there's two main ways that I source, and it's notorious for using, that people use e-distribution to find profitable products and source from this website, okay? So first and foremost is obviously, just like any other wholesale or potential liquidation company, you want to find profitable products that you can then resell back online, or specifically Amazon's mainly where I focus some of them, but you can also sell these back on eBay or Poshmark or Mercari, depending on whatever it is and depending on where you see the opportunity, right? Pretty self-explanatory. That's number one. You find profitable products just like any other of these websites, you sell them back online. And number two is sometimes you'll notice that one of the ways that people use e-distribution is to get ungated for certain brands. So this is great for people that want to get into potential retail arbitrage. This is great for people that want to get into other, use other wholesale suppliers to source their inventory potentially, or other places to source their inventory, but are gated for certain top brands, okay? So one of the benefits of using a site like this is you'll see that on the side they have a number of other brands. So right here, if we click on the companies, and you can click see more companies, and there are hundreds if not thousands of the companies on here. So two examples of ways that I've used this to get ungated, and some of these products that you're going to go ahead and get, if you want to go ahead and get ungated, you might not be profitable in those products. So one of the examples is, to give you an example, I did this with Bandai and I also did this with Mattel. So what happened was, sometimes I like to source online, and I've talked about sites like Brickseek before. That is not a wholesale website. And I also like to do some retail arbitrage, although I rarely do that. But if I'm like at a store with like my girlfriend or something and she's taking forever, I'll hit the clearance aisle and just see if any of those things can be profitable, right? And as I'm currently in Q4 right now and toys sell really well, and this is a toy manufacturer wholesale website, I happen to notice that there was a bunch of Barbies on clearance, super cheap with a great profit margin. But Barbie is owned by Mattel, right? Barbie is a sub brand of the brand Mattel. So I'm gated for Barbie on Amazon, so I can't sell them, so I can't make that profit, right? And I noticed that when I scanned it in. So what then I did is I came back to e-distribution, I went to Mattel, and I basically sorted for the cheapest Mattel products on this website so that I could basically buy 10 of a quantity, because that's one of the things that we'll talk about. And it's okay if this is going over your head right now. I'll hit it. I'm sure I'll hit this home in the tutorials directly below this video as well. What you basically need to do to use an invoice to get ungated is you need to have an invoice that shows at least 10 of a certain product, right? So if you buy, eight of a Mattel product on e-distribution, you can't use that to get ungated on Amazon because it's not a quantity of 10 or more, okay? So you need to buy at least 10 of a product to get ungated for that brand. So what I then did is I came to Mattel and I sorted for the price low to price high, and I sorted for show in stock only as well. And what that's going to do is it's going to show me the cheapest potential Mattel products that I can buy to then ship into Amazon, to then give them the Amazon the invoice from e-distribution showing 10 of my quantity of this Barbie brand from a legitimate wholesale manufacturer. In this case, it's e-distribution, and boom, I was accepted to then sell and ungated to sell Barbie products. And then every time I go to the store and I see those clearance things and those clearance prices on Barbie, I can then sell them because now I'm ungated. So that's another way that people use this to get ungated so that they can sell it or source from other places, okay? Another example of this, I forget who it was. It might have been Bandai, maybe. It was one of the other companies. But I basically bought, I think, 10 of an Uno deck and 10 of a Phase 10 deck, which were two top brands. I forget the exact brands that they were. I literally did this like a week ago. And basically by doing that, it literally cost me like $25 for 10 of those because they were super cheap on this website. And then I was ungated for those brands going forward. So just to give you an example here, here's a perfect example, Skip Bo, right? So this is a Mattel game right here. If this was in stock currently, then you could buy 10 of these for, whatever that is. So the price per case, if you're buying 1 to 13 in the case quantity, would then be $39.60 or roughly $4.95 a piece. So if you were buying a case of these at 10 of them, you'd end up spending $4.95 is times 10, which if we pull the calculator up really fast, pull it up and do the math. So what is it? $4.95 times 10. It would then cost you $49.50 to get ungated for Mattel by simply buying 10 of these, shipping them into FBA, showing Amazon your invoice to get ungated in it, and then boom, you're ungated for Mattel and potential Barbie products in the future, okay? And obviously you're going to recoup some of this money, but this is version number 2, right? So number 1, you're not doing any of this. You're just trying to find profitable products, hence what I'm talking about in the tutorials below. This is number 2, and this is version number 2, to just use this to get ungated for certain brands, and then you can source them other places. So obviously you're not going to be out $49. You're not paying $50 essentially to get ungated, right? You're going to pay $50 roughly to get 10 of these, then you're going to resell them back on Amazon, and you might lose like $10 to $15 potentially after fees and after everything else, because you're spending $50, you might make like, I don't know, like $55 back, and then maybe your fees ended up costing you like $20, right? So you're still losing money, but then you're ungated to sell Barbie and Mattel in the future, okay? So those are the two main ways that you can use e-distribution and wholesale sites in general to either source profitable products or get ungated for top brands. So hope that makes sense, and in the tutorials below you can see more examples of me sourcing through this actual website and how I use it to find profitable products.